Almost every home buyer starts their search here. People who move here never regret it. And the people who leave, well, they usually try to move back. I'm Sean P. I'm a real estate agent living in Victoria. And on this channel, I make videos to help people understand how to better navigate our market. And this video specifically is a neighborhood tour about one of our most popular areas, Fairfield. Now, Fairfield is popular with a good reason. Just about nobody ever wants to leave. It's got an incredibly integrated and active community. It's perfect for people who move here for lifestyle because of its access to some of our best waterfront, and it's sandwiched between the city and Beacon Hill Park. So you've got all kinds of amenities right at your fingertips. If you're considering moving to Fairfield, this video is for you. So let's dig in. So Fairfield's popular, and with good reason. You know what? The thing about Fairfield is that you get a little bit of everything. You are so close to downtown and James Bay, but a lot of the things that make people concerned about living in downtown and James Bay just aren't an issue in Fairfield. James Bay has a tendency towards congestion and people getting trapped when there are festivals and parades and stuff like that. And Fairfield doesn't have that issue. There's lots of ways in and out, and generally it's a really accessible area. Downtown is very urban, so it's mostly tall buildings, they're wider, busier streets, there's people everywhere all times of day. Fairfield is tucked just far enough away, but it shares the same set of amenities with the other two. You've got access to downtown on foot. You could bike anywhere in about 10 minutes. It's also got access to Beacon Hill Park, which it shares with James Bay. It's just on the other side of Beacon Hill Park. And this is, if you haven't been, like, it's just an incredibly beautiful resource that our city has, and it's always a center of activity. It also borders on Dallas Road. So Fairfield has some of the most beautiful waterfront our city has to offer. And even with all of this, it's still a peaceful and quiet area for people to raise families and to be part of a community. It's a very well integrated community. The people who live there all take part, and it even has its own little pedestrian village. Cook Street Village is really nicely built up. It's just the right size. It's got that Goldilocks thing going on. It's not too big and overwhelming. It's not too small to not have the resources you want. You can go out for a meal or get your hair done or buy some vintage clothes and go to the bank. And that's right in the heart of the neighborhood. So it offers just the right amount of everything without being too much. So I think the thing that makes Fairfield so magical is it's got this interesting blend of being a really active area all day long that gets really quiet and peaceful at night. And it's where you get this interesting, really hard to pull off mix of having a community that really feels like it has a pulse, where it's also peaceful and ideal for families, because most areas either go one way or the other. They get really busy and it's busy all the time and you kind of feel trampled, or it's really quiet and you have to leave your area if you want to do anything special. Now, I think the trick to it with Fairfield is if you look at the set of amenities the area has to offer, they're all things that are geared towards an active lifestyle and daytime use. So let's take another quick look and just dig in a little bit closer. Starting back at the waterfront, we're on Dallas Road. So just like James Bay, we have access to arguably some of the most picturesque beaches in Victoria with the view of the Olympic Mountains in the background. This is really active. We've got bicycle and pedestrian areas for people to exercise, and we have a string of some of the most beautiful beaches and park space in the entire city. Moving from Beacon Hill Park, you have Clover Point, which is absolutely stunning. It's a little outcrop with public washrooms and parking, and just it's a beautiful space to just kind of be in and take in your surroundings. Ross Bay is one of the more picturesque beaches in the area. And then as you continue on, there's just a series of little beaches and alcoves like Gonzales that really are a lot more private and less used, but still very accessible. Again, Beacon Hill Park is great for walking. There's a petting zoo and all kinds of little nooks and crannies that you can go explore. And then the waterfront itself is what I consider, I would say, one of the best dog parks on earth. The stretch between James Bay, or we'll just say between Beacon Hill Park and Clover Point, is a massive off-leash dog area. So if you're an animal lover, this is a great place to try to center your search so you have close access to let your little furry friend blow off some steam. Now, again, Cook Street Village has this perfect eclectic vibe of small, locally owned businesses and food trucks. You can snack, you can run errands. It's got a lot of just about anything you could possibly need on foot. But if you don't, Fairfield has its own market anyway. So if you want to go to a larger grocery store, there's one right nearby with more restaurants and stuff like that. Now, Fairfield is so close to downtown. You also have all the amenities that the city has to offer, but a lot of the time people who live in the area aren't actually going that far because there's just so much that they can do closer to home, whether they're going to the actual Fairfield Plaza or they're just using Cook Street Village. Finally, there are some really outstanding historical sites. Government House and Ross Bay Cemetery are both beautiful places to go check out for an afternoon. And there's all kinds of stuff taking place throughout the course of the year, like the Moss Street Market, community events, art spots, and it just has such a well-integrated, tight-knit feel when you put everything together. It's so clear why people all strive and fight so hard to live here. So who's living here and what are they living in? Well, Fairfield itself, kind of like the set of features that attract people here, tends to attract a broad range of people. But there are some groups that stand out. Let's start with mature professionals. These are people who have either lived in Fairfield for years and fought and made it a priority to remain in Fairfield, or they're people who have done well enough for themselves to be able to afford the home of their dreams in one of our best locations. We also see Fairfield as home to younger families. Now, it is a prime location, but it's got a wide range of housing stock. And so a lot of families will choose to live in a home that they plan to fix up over the years, and they can make access to this area possible that way. I also see it as a great place for downsizers. If you kick the kids out and you don't need as much space, but you want to remain active and you want to stay with the pulse of the city and feel like you're integrated into a community, Fairfield is a fantastic place to call home. When it comes to housing stock, you're predominantly going to see single-family detached homes. Now, these are beautiful properties. The majority of them aren't going to be huge, but there are some older heritage properties that are absolutely stunning and have quite a bit of square footage to offer. In some of the areas near Cook Street Village, we'll also see newer detached homes that were either built custom or on spec. And these can be great properties if you have a little bit of extra money and you want to live in something absolutely beautiful. The majority of builders have done great justice to the neighborhood when it comes to putting in quality product. There is an assortment of condos, but I wouldn't say that they are the norm. We have some lower wood-framed 70s, 80s, 90s buildings. If you get closer to downtown, there's even a couple really tall modern buildings that were built relatively recently. So you've got a wide range of options, and it really just depends on your budget and your priorities. I started the video by saying that no one's ever regretted moving to Fairfield, and that is absolutely true. In fact, it's an area that stands out as being a favorite for people in all walks of life. So there's not a lot that drives people away from the area. But if you're shopping for a home here, there are a few things that you should be aware of, starting with buried oil tanks. Now, these are, a lot of these homes are from the first half of the century. So homes that are in the early 1900s, right up to about the year 1960, have some things that you want to watch out for. Right up until 1960, it was very common in Victoria to bury oil tanks, and buried oil tanks can erode over time and leak oil into the soil. And as a homeowner, even if you were unaware and someone else did it before you owned the property, it would still be your responsibility to clean it up. So we always encourage people to scan for oil tanks before removing any home inspection contingencies. Other things that can be costly with older homes include wiring updates, plumbing updates, and things like checking that the perimeter drain, if it was made of clay when it was first installed, is still clear and operational. These are expensive things to replace, and if you're buying a home There are ways to make sure that what you have is in the right condition and allowable by today's building standards so that you don't get caught with a bill after moving into your dream neighborhood. No matter what, if you move to Fairfield, you'll be happy. But there are a couple groups I think should pay special attention. And let's start with first-time buyers. If you're able to swing it, this area will give you absolutely everything you could possibly want in a community, and it is one of the safest and best places to put your money in Victoria. If you're a first-timer and you can get into Fairfield, do it. The second one, again, is downsizers. If you're selling a larger property and you have the means, well, put it somewhere that represents a really safe and stable investment and gives you the pulse of the city and the quiet you need to relax and enjoy the space around you. Finally, if you come and go, I think Fairfield would be an outstanding place to consider. I know I said the same three if you've watched my James Bay video, but the same applies because both of them have such a unique set of amenities and they're both such active locations to live. So if you haven't seen that video already, I'll make sure to link to it in the description. You should check it out because it's a great comparison for Fairfield. As always, I'm so glad you took the time to watch this. If you have an area that you'd like me to do a profile on, well, drop it in the comments and I'll work it into my mix soon. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It's a great way to support the work that I do and also to make sure that you don't miss anything else that we have coming up. And if you want more information on Fairfield or any other neighborhood, you can get in touch with me using the link in the description. Drop your time in and we'll jump on a quick call. I'll do anything I can to help with your real estate search. As always, thanks again for watching and we'll catch you on the next one.